Hi, everyone, and welcome to Experience Share, where we're delighted to try Zero Aura EXP Share in the central area, whilst you are a Darkrai going on your own adventures. Uh, it doesn't work. True story from today. Apart from that, great. You know what? We're going to do a different intro. We're going to do a different intro. That was just me venting.
Yeah.
That was just me venting. It was just me venting.
No, that was good. That was a good event set.
That was just
That's
me.
good.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to Experience Share, the Vibes Pokemon Unite podcast, where we're more than happy to support you up in the top path. I'm Reliq, and listen, I know I said it's unlikely we'll see all five of us together again. Well, we've got four of us together, plus the lovely one, the chef, who was planning on joining us, sadly could not, and so joining us in spirit from whatever lovely private island he's gone to. In the meantime, I'm delighted to welcome back the wonderful Buzzer Bob, Soph-chan, and Kellosaurus. So much to talk about on this one. Let's go down the line, Buzzer Bob. How has your past couple of weeks been?
Oh, it's been great. I let people know that I got a resurgence of just being creative again after experiencing
Yes.
worlds. So I'm on that path. I know we're gonna talk about some of that stuff today, so spoilers. Ooh. But I'm excited for what we have in the game. I'm just excited just to do new stuff, and I'm just happy the Natus are back. So that's been my favorite favorite highlight, to see them, and then I just squash them. So it's all good.
The Zatu children have finally returned to the nest.
Oh
Soph-chan,
yeah.
myself and you, we returned to the proverbial couch. I know we were watching a lot of Pokemon Concierge, crying over a lot of Pokemon Concierge. But how have your Unite adventures been? Have you had a chance to try the new map yet?
Oh yeah, it's so good. I really like it. It feels like very different in some ways, where the rhythm of the game hadn't really like drawn me in a while, but now with this new map, it feels like I start early game and then boom, Groudon. I'm like, whoa, we did so much that the game just completely passed me by. And I love that because I feel like that's the intent of a Unite game anyway. It's 10 minutes long, always differently from other similar types of games that last accordingly to how long you take to defeat the enemy. So it feels like, to me, this works really well with what the game was supposed to be. And maybe just giving me back that hype that I had when the game first launched. So I'm really happy.
Delighted to hear. And we've also got our awesome Australian with us. Welcome back, Kelly. Hope you're doing super well. Of course, I know that you've been playing a lot of Groudon because you've been playing a lot on stream recently, playing a lot of different Pokemon as well. What's been your favorite for this first few days?
There has to be the newly released Pokemon Pawmot. I ended up reaching Masters last night with Pawmot,
Very good.
actually. So
Nice.
went on a pretty decent run. But yes, a mixture of Buzzer Bob's and Sochan's feelings, getting that creative boost ever since Worlds, and also just really enjoying everything that Unite has had to bring the past couple of weeks.
You know, I think that's kind of just like an all-encompassing feeling, because here I am doing content on this channel as well for the first time really in a gazillion years, and we will talk more about the impact of recent changes on Pokemon Unite. The return of Teeds, by the way, from the wilderness. Incredible to see her. But besides talking about content in Unite, are we happy with the numbers? Are we expecting an increase in numbers? Are we disappointed by the initial impact? What is Silksong even? We're also going to be talking about Thea Dry Ruins in general, Riv Ranked, Praise Timmy. There was a day one patch, which I think, honestly, everyone was really happy with. Oh no, apparently no, Soph is still here. Don't worry, Soph is still here. Soph, your tech issues, of course, is what all this. Oh, Discord's updating. That's why. Can everyone else still hear me?
Wait, I hear you. I'm in the green room. Hold on, let me disconnect and reconnect.
I think it's hilarious. We're recording this podcast, and yet there are still issues to be had. I love technology. In the meantime, I'm going to run you through the rest of it. Pawmot. We heard that Kelo reached Masters with it. Is it still cooked, or is it cooking? 3 bans per team. secret, undocumented change, incredible news that potentially competitive is going to change in terms of UCS going forward, and mega licenses. We talk about the fact that they are now confirmed to be unique. They are not integrated into the licenses. How do we feel about that? How do we feel about the first couple of reveals? And what are we expecting in terms of reveals in the future? And I think Discord is fully padoodled. Hi everyone, that was Discord going down, apparently, and so even though we are pre-recording this to go out on YouTube, and listen, Zoinks, I heard you, man. The guy calling me out saying, I can't believe that Reliq's not put it up on Spotify. I'm not going to listen to this podcast ever again if you don't put it up on Spotify. He didn't really, but did he? No, he didn't actually say that, but
He did.
I'm looking into it, okay? I'm looking into it. I hear you. Spotify's a good place to put it up. But I have run through everything. I think I actually can't remember now at this point. It'll be a surprise if we haven't. Or you can just cheat and look at the chapters down below if you want a discussion point. Go find it. Starting with, and I quite like this, we're nicknaming it Thea Dry Ruins. Groudon is here. The meta has completely shifted in terms of macro. Chaos reigns in ranked as nobody knows what to do anymore, and people are still surrendering at 2 minutes because they don't understand that they can actually defend their goal zones right now. I am having a blast playing this map. It is the injection of fun that I think everyone's been asking for. Kelly, we've been talking about you getting into Masters and playing the new Pokemon Pawmot and whatnot, but oh, there are just so many things to enjoy with this content drop in particular.
Oh, yeah, it just feels like every single minute of those 10 minutes, even after that 2 minutes in the final stretch, there is something to do. Having that Regidrago spawn on in that rotates out with the Altaria, you don't know what's coming. But also, I think it's just the map awareness, and I feel like you're always constantly on the ball trying to figure out, okay, is Regieleki going to be at bottom or is it going to be at top? And it's just those adjustments that you really need to make on the fly. Just your brain is constantly ticking, and I love that.
I can already tell you what Soph's favorite thing is. Regidrago, no? It's just like, yo, major objective immediately. Let's go.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. 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 If you guys remember on the podcast, I did say that it would be fun if we had an extra objective that was before Rayquaza or before Groudon. So, I told you I was cooking. It's just saying.
Are you Mrs. Timmy? Is this the big reveal?
Maybe.
You are Mrs. Timmy. Okay.
I would have you all sign NDAs to reveal that information.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but yeah, it's so fun. I also really enjoyed the fact that it's a roaming objective as well, because it kind of forces out that you play very intentionally with how you're going to be tackling that. Are you going to go full burst immediately as you go in? Or are you going to burn it down for a moment and then you just bust it in when you actually have the objective going to the other side of the central area, because you started at top, so you don't have that much control over bottom. So those things really just, like Kelly said, just makes your brain tick every single moment, and I love that. And I feel like now that they've, and it's something that we're still going to talk about, they tweaked it so the objective actually feels like it's in a good place too, which is really good.
Bob, less grass was definitely an interesting element that we were going to learn more about. I feel like it hasn't affected ranked too much, because I feel like trying to set up ambushes in ranked, well, if anything, setting up ambushes is now more obvious because there are less pieces of grass to do it with, and so you all want to huddle together. But I'm so fascinated to see how this translates to competitive play, because I feel like just those final 2 minutes, forget the whole buff for a second, how you set up and approach those 2 minutes in the first place is backcapping's a reality now.
Yeah, I don't think the loss of grass is that detrimental to, competitive. I still think with the amount of XP you have on this map, you see a lot of mons scaling much more quickly, being much more dangerous early game. Like speedsters are just eating this up. And
Stonks.
I think aside from, because it was always fun to kind of like hide in grass and set up a sneak attack, but I feel like there's a lot more team orchestra discussions that had to take place mid game to figure out where do you want to meet up, where do you want to go, where do you want to rotate, how do you want to score. So I think a lot of teams are going to shift their conversation from let's hide here, let's set up ambushes, to where should we congregate at this time of the game. Because a good example is my very first game on this map, my team, and this is solo cube, just FYI, but my team lost the Groudon fight. We peel back to our bases to defend. We knocked out the opposing team, stole their buffs, and then we pushed and scored and won the game. So we were behind.
Nice.
We lost Groudon, but we peeled back, got the buffs to be on our side, and made a push towards the end of the game to win the game. And it was thrilling action. Like I was like, this is what I cannot wait to see on a large stage. And to your point, Reliq, I think scoring now, because the goals have changed how many points they need to be broken. So you can't immediately dunk a hundo burger in a tier 2 bottom. And it's not going to break if it's a fully stacked goal. So I think scoring in this meta is going to be much more interesting. And that's why I think there might be opportunities where instead of you trying to rip Groudon, or you and your teammate to rip and the entire other opposing team is on it, maybe backcapping is the right way to go. And then you come back and defend. So there's a lot of great discussions to come out of this. I know a lot of teams will start to formulate their strategies as we head into the new season. So I can't wait to see it.
It was the most bizarre feeling dunking a full hundo burger in that bottom zone, and like it doesn't. Wait, hold on, it doesn't break.
What?
Oh, right, interesting. And
unless
actually,
you're phalanx.
I was gonna say phalanx, yeah.
that poor troop is like the lowest win rate from the past week, by the way. It's so sad. Also, shout out to Mewtwo. Why? Oof. Man, that thing is in the mud right now. It is rough hours if you are a Mewtwo fan. So, I'm there with you. I love everything about Endgame now. I think we're all unanimous in saying that we much prefer this to Rayquaza, at least early days.
Yo,
At least
who comes
early
up?
days. But I'm certainly also excited to see if Timmy keeps up with this patch cadence that we have, because admittedly it's been much better this year in compared to previous years. We're getting a patch, was it every couple of weeks or so now at this point? Sometimes it's small updates, sometimes it's big updates, and generally speaking the quality of the patches has been much better as well. Yeah, you got the odd weird decision here or there, but generally speaking there are actually quite meaningful buffs and nerfs. And we had another patch immediately the day after this releases, and so quite similar to how Rayquaza was nerfed, although that patch was considerably later than what we had this time. The biggest problem was with the aforementioned Regidrago, where Regidrago was giving so much experience at that guaranteed spawn 2 minutes into the game that it was causing an unwanted snowball effect. Timmy comes straight in, gut the thing, and say, okay, it's still good, but it's not Dreadnought good. Like the heralding of the second Dreadnought is now over. It's now a more reasonable objective. Of course, it can spawn twice as well, maybe 3 times. And so that pull and tug sort of vibe that you want to get from that middle objective has returned. And although we will get onto this topic in a little bit, they also gave a massive buff to Pawmot, which was seriously struggling. So I guess the question I want to ask you guys, open debate, feel free to completely go in the opposite direction to the positive vibes I'm trying to emanate here. Is it time to trust Timmy again?
Ooh,
Can I?
trust Yeah, please, you can start.
It's a
I
big
was
question.
going to say, one of the biggest factors that I do believe, and why I think the reason why we're getting these changes is beforehand we didn't have the ambassadors program. So with the ambassadors program, just anybody out there, you know, we do see these things on socials. One of us, you know, there is quite a big group there. This stuff does end up getting passed on, and you know, just gets passed on to the right people that then are able to go and pass that on to whomever else to get that stuff. So you know, I could be completely wrong in saying that, you know, that was one of the biggest impacts to why we ended up seeing these changes being made so quickly. But, you know, that's an active discussion that we all have is as soon as the stuff was out, you know, passing on our own feedback, passing on community feedback. And it's great to see that there is that I don't want to say instant. I mean, it was pretty much instant because it was the next day, but that
Yeah.
instant response to that to actually realize, oh, okay, hey, we need to go in to fix these things. So this is something that I think has made quite a fairly big impact in terms of Unite as a whole. And you know, this is still very much new. It's only been a couple of months in, but you know, a lot of people might not actually see that impact, but you know, being part of it, I really do think that this community ambassadors program is something that we really needed as a community to just help, you know, people's voices be heard and be able to provide that feedback directly, because I think that was one of the biggest issues that we had is, okay, they have this feedback, but are they actually listening to us? And you know, I think I can pretty much safely say that yes, they are. They are listening to and taking on our feedback. It's not, you know, all of it, obviously. You know, there still has to be things that to consider and actual thoughts and proof. We can't just say, "Hey, put this Pokemon in." That's our feedback. It's yeah, but I think that's one of the biggest things.
No, I was gonna.
I
I was
love that,
gonna.
honestly.
Yeah, I was gonna say trust is could be so difficult to earn. It's not an overnight thing, but it takes small steps to get there. And I just want to just echo what Kelly was saying, that I think because there is much more visibility with the ambassador program and people, because I know those who are behind these games, we want them to succeed. We see the potential behind it. And sometimes you just have to be loud. Sometimes you just have to say, this is not good. We should fix this, or this is great. Keep doing this. So having a channel, a direct channel that viewers the ambassadors can reach out, viewers and posters can share their 2 cents, and then that can get back to Timmy and to Pokemon. And then, of course, they can decide, you know, what they want to prioritize, what to focus on. And I always, and this is just me as a human being, I always believe there's good intention in folks. Obviously, that scale begins to tip one way or the other if I see much more negative stuff from you versus positive. But if you're making that effort to make change, to do good change for the health of a game, then and listen to people, and just listen to people. It's a good sign. So seeing all these patch updates come out, especially that emergency patch, like just the first day of playing this, and all of a sudden we're getting updates come in, that's a good sign. But let's see how that goes over the next couple of months, how consistent it is. And yeah, just keep sharing the thoughts online because people are listening. So I'm happy, Kelly, you mentioned that, because that makes me happy too.
Soph?
Yeah, it's lovely to see like this type of optimism and just energy emanating from the game and from the community and from the unison connection that we can achieve with it, because that's basically what Pokemon is all about anyway. It's all about the connection and the friendships and relationships and everything that you form. So it's so lovely to feel, like Kelly said and Bob, just that you actually have a more confident, I don't know, perspective on, yes, what I say will get somewhere, will get to someone, and that might make a difference. So it just motivates people to actually voice the worries and their congratulations and whatnot. So I really like it, and I'm super. Even if it wasn't for this, I feel like even in the beginning of the year, all throughout, before the ambassador program, even I was feeling a little more comfortable with how they were approaching the patches, with how they were approaching even the design of the patch, having
Yeah.
the flavor text for every Pokemon, and just then having the in-depth explanation with the numbers. That is also like a quality of life that they have been doing for a while. The frequency of the patches is something that I also really enjoy, and they have been looking especially towards the Pokemon that have been too strong. And honestly, the Pokemon that have been performing not so well, when they do tweak it and buff it a little bit, it does feel like it makes a difference. So I am very happy to see them taking that action and joining that with the ambassador program to know even more what the players actually think.
You know, there have been so many horror cases I've seen where there has been clear, overwhelming feedback and nothing has been done about it. And that's the case with Unite as well. Remember how long we had to suffer through the Zacian meta? Remember that we had to suffer a few days through the Mewtwo Y Mime meta?
Eel.
You know, Sylveon for the longest time was the outlier with how quickly they reverted changes. Or not even just reverted changes, but how quickly they had to nerf that thing. Zacian was a full month, wasn't it, before they did anything about it? And then that ultimately was, I think, one of the biggest catalysts to taking away EX licenses. So for Sylveon to no longer be the outlier, the anomaly, to see such immediate change, and not just to the map, but to Pawmot as well, that was suffering big time, I think that is so incredibly positive for the future of this game. I think, Bob, you make an excellent point of trust is so hard to earn. It's even harder to earn back once it has been lost. And so I understand a lot of, let's say, pessimistic folks out there. And I think there's reason to be very excited indeed. Keep it up, Timmy. That's a thumbs up from us. But let's focus in on Pawmot, shall we? Because, of course, it's the brand new license. It's been released to what was a bit of a damp squib, and then to potential fanfare. I mean, it's a very unique style of health drain build. It's got a lot of unique quirks to it. Obviously, a two-stage evolution as well, and so is benefiting from the central area changes. Let's go back to Kelly, shall we? You've had the most hands-on time with it. Where do you think it sits now? Like, realistically speaking, does it feel like it's going to define the meta much at all? Would you like to see more buffs for it, perhaps, in the future?
Oh, I don't think it needs more buffs. I think where it is at the moment is in a pretty decent position. I wouldn't say it's in S tier where it's broken. I suppose I'd say it's probably A tier, very high, A plus tier. So it can still get shut down. It is so susceptible to crowd control, which I suppose a lot of all-rounders are, given its kit. I know struggling against Pikachu, Delphox, even Alolan Ninetales and Mamoswine. So there are still those ways to counter Pawmot, which I think will be more representative in the competitive scene, especially in draft, because then you're able to react. But obviously in a blind pick ranked environment, that doesn't exactly translate as well. Because, you know, the opposite team might end up having no crowd control at all. And, well, Pawmot ends up having a field day, which I did experience multiple times on my master's climb. But yeah, in terms of its kit, one thing that I love is the uniqueness to its Unite move. It's
Yes.
different in that sense of it doesn't rely specifically on timing to get those cooldowns. So usually all of the other Pokemon, you have like specific times in your head where it's like, I cannot unite after 3 minutes 30. I cannot unite. You know, I can spare a unite at the 3:05 mark and still be able to get it back. But with this one, it actually requires you to actively be engaged in fights because that's where you get the highest charge by brawling your opponents. Because even then, with only farming, the Unite charge is very minimal. And there's been so many times where I'd end up entering the Groudon fight and I'm on like 40% Unite charge, even though I ended up using it at like the 3-minute 30 mark. And I'm like, I've had enough time, but what is going on? It's just in between that minute and a half, it's a little bit more passive. People are actually being more careful not to get caught out in team fights, which ends up hindering Pawmot. But then you don't want to overextend and look for those fights and get soloed out. So I think trying to work those mechanics and everything like that has just been something that I've really enjoyed learning, and I really love it.
I honestly, as somebody who really enjoys all-rounders, it comes across as a great Pokemon to learn how to play all-rounders. Some people might be sick of them by this point, but I couldn't agree with you more. I like that there's a risk-reward to Pawmot. Not that it's doing particularly well, Soph, unfortunately. As of today, we're recording on Monday I say Monday the 9th of September. It's Monday the 8th of September. It's just turned over midnight, so technically Tuesday for me now. Unfortunately, it is the Pawmot in a Mewtwo bun sandwich nestled right at the bottom of the win rate column. 45.3% for reference, Y with 44.76 and X with 46.07. Not the highest pick rate either, given that of course it's behind a Aeos gem door for the first week, and so it is not widely available to free-to-play players. Is it just how much that first day has affected it so far? Do you think that people will really have to learn how to use it? Do you think people will have the patience to learn how to use it? Because I don't know, looking at the Mewtwo's around it, the A-pressers, I feel like you get a little bit more value instantly if you learn that over Pawmot, which is quite more technical, let's say.
Yeah, it kind of feels like you say, it's one of those Pokemon that people need to be passionate about. Not just about the actual Pokemon itself, but the gameplay of it. So yeah, I get that. It's always easier for a Pokemon to be too good in the first week, and everybody wants to play it because they are constantly getting knocked out against it on solo queue, and they're like, no, that's my time. Yeah. Like, no, I want this. I want my turn. So I understand that when you don't see like that much of an effect in solo queue, that you're like, why should I bother with, I don't know, getting into one of those lovely giveaways that Calosaurus has been doing. I think Bob as well. Wink, wink. But you do want to save the coins to buy it after the first week. We'll see how that's going to change. But personally, it's a playstyle that I do enjoy a lot. Not just because of the Pokemon itself. I just love the rodent Pokemon. They are just really, 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 really cute. But I just feel like it's a playstyle that requires time and focus, and that is just something that I love about Unite and these types of games in general. Just putting a lot of effort to master one thing. You're like, yeah, that's fun. I like that.
You know, there's actually one element, Bob, I want to focus on in there, and that's if I have the coins to pay for it. Because, of course, for most of us, we're super nerds with Pokemon Unite. We play it most days. We have a lot of Aeos coins to spend, or we're getting the licenses gifted to us by, the wonderful Pokemon Company or Pokemon Company International. Mm-hmm. And so we don't really consider the new player perspective, where there's players coming in for the first time. They've heard about this Groudon. They've heard about a bunch of new licenses. Whoa, Vaporeon's coming to the game. Whoa, Piplup's coming to the game. Awesome. I'm going to download Pokemon Unite and give it a try. But that means they've got 70 plus licenses at this point to choose from, outside of the first 5 that you get once you're done with the tutorial. If you are a new player, are you looking at Pawmot as a must purchase within, let's say, the first 5 opportunities that you get? Or are you slightly put off by how unique it is? Like, do you feel like you have to be a Pawmot superfan to consider buying this as one of your first options?
There are a lot of Pawmot super fans out there. I saw Kelly with the little Pawmot plushie. There it is. I will say this. I think I like Pawmot's kit. I like how it plays. If you're someone new coming to the game, I don't think you should jump on it right away. I think there's other great characters in the roster that you can pick up to learn the basics of a traditional Unite match. And I always tell people, like, you can pretty much make any Pokemon like work. Like, it is a favorite Pokemon that you like on the list. I say go for it, buy it, give it a shot, see how it plays. But the beauty about that is you then start to uncover, well, what type of role do I like to play the most? You know, you may turn out to be more of just, you know, a melee attacker. You may be someone who just wants to be a bulky defender. You may be someone who just wants to be that good old support friend who's always laning with your bestie. There's a lot of great mons in this game where just play them and then you'll start to see the different mechanics of some games. Like, you know, you look at Blaziken, for example, which we're talking about kits. Blaziken's Unite is so unique that it's different from everything else in the game. So I think there's other mons in the roster that you can play. I think the best way to learn Unite, and this is what I taught myself when I first started, is try to play at least one mon in every single role. Because that's a great way to see how those roles kind of work together in real time. Like at first I was attacker all the way. And then as time went on, I turned to more defender all-rounder because I just like the playstyles of them. So I would say hold off on Pawmot for now. I know we have a lot more exciting Pokemon licenses to be released even just like next month and throughout the year. So see how they come out. Always look for trials. I know Pokemon Unite wants to have like trial periods. So I say the best thing to do is use a trial on a mon before you commit to buying it with your currency.
Sage advice, as always. Just before we move on, shout out to the Tinkerton buffs. Big fan of Ice Hammer. Really, really, really happy with that. And generally, good job, Timmy. Awesome. We're having fun with Pawmot. Looking forward to seeing more of what you guys are cooking in the future. But you might want to document your changes a little bit better because there we were, booting up the game. Everyone's having a good time. And yo, the wonderful folks over at Underdunk are having a brand new tournament for the brand new map. It's business as usual because it's very exciting. And then we find out that they've added an extra ban. Not only that, but they've completely changed how the ban system works in general. So what we had before was pretty simple. One ban, one ban, one ban, one ban. 4 bans in total. Nice and simple. There I was, post-World Championships, and I think maybe even on episode 1 of this podcast, saying, you know, maybe it's time for 3. Maybe it's time for 3 bans per team. We're getting a lot, and look at how the meta's being defined. We're seeing a lot of the same Pokemon going through or being on the ban table. A 3rd ban would be pretty nice. And lo and behold, they only let us know a couple of days later with a, oh, by the way, we added this into the game. But we now have not just 3 bans per team, but at least in its current iteration. And so you have all 5 players on your team voting towards who to ban. In ranked, utter carnage. Who knows what's going to get banned? People are just going to meme sometimes, and sometimes you're going to get double bans because there's no communication. I think in competitive, sure, it also might work because everyone's talking with each other, but to be honest, I don't quite know how mirror ban matchups work, whether it just cancels each other out, whether it just takes the highest votes from across both teams. I don't know, guys. I'm kind of scared. I'd quite like a more conventional 1-2-2-1 format once we hit LAIC, which is now, of course, confirmed to be the first UCS event of the season. But just the 3 bans in general, let's go to Soph first with that. Do you think this is the right time to introduce 3 bans? Like, do you think it is justified? And do you at least hope to see a change to how the actual ban format works?
Yeah, so regardless of how things are going to go early, I see it's in Sao Paulo. It's a pretty quick drive. I can just head up there and have a good time for sure. So regardless, I'll be there. But I think if there is a time to test out new bans, it has to be right now, as soon as we just finished Worlds, and as long as we still have enough time for LAIC, I think that's okay. I don't think blind bans make any freaking sense. Things are just, that's not it. I'm gonna be very honest. That is just not it. I believe there might have been even a mistake. I don't know. It just feels like the intention of bans is to limit and make both teams craft a strategy before the pick phase. What the service is that really serving right now? What purpose is it really serving right now? No purpose. So I agree with you. It has to be something more traditional. Either you're going 1, 2, 2, 1, and 3. Right now, with the amount of Pokemon that we have total in the game, I think it's okay per team. I think that's really going to help the compositions be more intentional, because overall, especially at Worlds, we saw constantly, and you would with any game, you had a Pokemon that is really powerful. It's either always banned or always picked. We had Ho-Oh on that. We had Latios a lot on that as well. So it's one of those things that having more bans per team is good. I like that. Good principle. Not the best execution. So I would tweak that, and because we have enough time, Timmy, has enough time to actually see how that is affecting the audience, how that is being received by the community and the players, especially the competitive players, is how they're actually going to tweak it to become something that works. But to be honest, don't overcomplicate it. There is something that already works, and it's a template that is used in many other games that use ban systems. Just follow along the lines.
Right, Kelo, I know that you're an aficionado at draft as well. Of course, I imagine you'll be keeping a close eye on LAIC yourself. Here's what the official word is, right? Here's the official wording from Mr. Timmy. The previous format, where ban selections were entrusted to specific players, was not well suited for ranked matches where communication can be difficult. This change resolves that issue. The time required for the Pokemon selection phase will be shortened, providing a quicker and more streamlined experience for all players. And I'm gonna be real, I kind of feel that. There were many times where I was looking at players actively not banning Pokemon, actually, and thinking, ugh, what do we even... Are you new to Master? Is this a new concept to you? Is something wrong? Are you okay? But now at least it is entrusted to the entire team. And so as much as we can and hope that the changes that Soph has recommended actually go through for competitive, do you at least see the vision for ranks? And ultimately, do you think it is a good change for ranked?
I do think this is a good change for ranked because you're not relying on just those two people to make those decisions. As you said, like some of them just, whether it's for personal choice, they don't know, this is their first time, or whether they've gone in and crashed. So unable to actually make a selection there. So at least there's 4 other people to rely on to actually go and make those decisions for bans. I think, there's always going to be moments where it's just like, what on earth are my randoms doing? And we end up getting 3 completely weird bans or something like that. But I think it's going to be a little bit more reliable in that sense. But yeah, as you mentioned, this is what we've seen in ranked and so far in custom battles. The tournament mode hasn't actually been updated yet. So it is still on that Rayquaza map, I believe. So maybe, we might actually see the more traditional one pick, or even the one pick, two pick, one pick as Soph suggested when they actually update that mode. It is the off season at the moment, while we would actually love to see that straight away because it's not just, even though it's off season, we still have teams that want to scrim, or even just communities actually wanting to try it out in the tournament mode to have access to all of those licenses. But I guess, yeah, for the time being, I think in terms of how it fits in ranked, it's good. I'm okay with it. I haven't actually had a draft game in ranked yet, so can't really comment too much on it because I haven't actually had that experience. But at least it's going to also just shorten that beginning time.
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, that ban phase actually does take quite a fair bit of time, but also sometimes that time is necessary to actually get your thoughts in order, and everything. So I don't know. I guess we'll have to see how it actually ends up panning out.
If there's one thing I really, really like about Pokemon Unite is the fact that I can go in and out of a game within 20 minutes. And that honestly, the draft phase previously, you were just like, oh, I'm going to be sitting here for another 2 minutes or so. So I do appreciate the attempt to expedite the process. There have been some immediate reactions, Bob. I want to give a shout out to Paladin Knight for directing me in the direction of a guy called Shink Poke, or Shink Poke, who has created his own draft system that you can do outside of the game, and then you can just go quick pick based on the results of this draft. Now, what's interesting about this is it actually follows more of a League of Legends format, where you have the first ban phase, which I believe I'm correct in saying is your 2 bans, as you would have had with Rayquaza. You then have your first 3 picks. You then have 2 further bans, and then your final 2 picks. Now, I'm going to be honest. I kind of like the idea of all 3 picks going, or all 3 bans, I should say, for both teams, being done and dusted before the pick phase. Why? Because when we look at the World Championships and when we look at recent metas, there genuinely have been that amount of Pokemon that you would expect to see picked anyway if they're not banned. And if we want to push variety right now, at least in my opinion, that's the way to go about it. But do you at least see why this system might be enjoyed by the players, of course? Because there is a meta for a reason, though, and you are going to be practicing the Pokemon that you think will give you the best chance of winning, right?
Yeah. Next question. No.
Yeah.
No, I like situations where a player or a team can react to a certain pick, and we see it in draft all the time, right? Like even in the draft in the game today, where when you see teams picking certain mons, you can then, oh, I see what they're trying to do. Now it's our turn to pick. Let's pick something to counter whatever gameplay that they're working on. So obviously, you know, having some very like meta defining, you know, high IQ picking situation would be interesting. But does that just make draft longer? Do I have to sit in the draft screen so much more longer if I want to get to my game? I think, you know, and I want to see, you know, how many times this new draft mode will have 6 unique Pokemon banned. I don't know if that's going to be a very common thing. You might see 3, you still might see 4. Will we have 6 unique Pokemon like fully banned? I don't know. I don't know yet. But yeah, I'm always interested to see how these new mechanics work out. I think if I'll end on this about the new banning system, it's nice to see everybody on the team have a say in the ban, as opposed to saying, oh, I recommend this ban. And then you have the 2 lowest MMR players choosing the ban, and sometimes they don't. And then you're like, well, that was fun time wasted. We have no bans, and let's just have, you know, Comfy's run wild and Latias do Latias things. But I think it's good to see everybody on the team now have a legit say on what's being banned for the upcoming match. So, but but I should probably play around with this tool. It sounds cool. It sounds cool. I found it. It's really unique.
Yeah,
So maybe
good.
we'll see how it works out.
I imagine that, again, the likes of Underdunk might get great value out of this, actually, because, again, we hope that a more competitive system is implemented for LAIC. It's only a couple months away. But then again, Timmy were pretty sharpish with the day one patches. All that's to say, right, we've got all of these wonderful things, and we do have more wonderful things on the way. We'll be talking about the mega licenses, of course, and touching base with, of course, we've got our other 3 Pokemon on top of that have been revealed already. We'll be sort of musing about what could come after that and such, but there definitely does feel to be it's obvious there's a bigger push now for Unite than ever before. This is the biggest content drop since late 2022. We still don't have the majority of the China game modes. We still don't have the China lobby. Many people were theorizing, are we going to be getting like a relaunch of this game? And some people will say, I kind of wish that there was a relaunch of this game, because there's plenty of prominent people out there on social media who are bemoaning the fact that there is no significant increase in terms of viewership. And maybe this could have helped, and maybe this could have helped, or maybe Silk Song is impacting the overall state of things. Do we just need to chill for a bit, guys? Do we need to see a head of steam built up before we start to pass judgment on whether all of these additions are a success or a failure? Since, again, going back to that point that Bob brought up, trust needs time, and surely is it more a case of just wait and see rather than say that Unite is cooked already? I don't know.
I think that's the vibe. I appreciate the effort in putting a draft. What'd you call it? Is it a website?
Yes, it's an external draft tool.
Yeah, it's very common in League of Legends, so I get that. I appreciate the shout out to League again with the with the order of picks and bans. So just to clarify and just explain exactly how it goes. So you have League has 5 bans per team. So it's kind of like you have 1 ban per person. And actually in the regular ranked mode, it is 1 ban per person. Every person will ban what they want. It's not a vote. They just ban what they want, and that's what it is. For the competitive, it's never going to be one person deciding alone. It's always going to be the team deciding together, but it's still a total of 10 bans, which we're very far away from in Pokemon Unite because we don't have that many licenses. But how it works is, just like Reliq mentioned, you have a ban phase that is divided in 2 parts, and the pick phase is also divided in 2 parts. So first ban phase, first pick phase, second ban phase, second pick phase. So it's divided like that. For League, you would have in the first ban phase 3 champions banned, 3 champions picked, 2 champions picked, two champions bans, and 2 champions picked. So in Unite, I would say it would be of 2 bans per team, and then you have 3 picks, then the last ban per team, and then the last 2 picks. Something like that would make sense. And it's interesting how much that adds to competitive. Again, I don't feel like that's something that we can actually do in Unite right now for like regular play in ranked, exactly because of that. If we don't have enough licenses to have every person voting on what they want, and they vote whatever they want, and that's what's going to come up, instead of having an actual vote, they just choose what they specifically want. Because we don't have that many licenses, that can't happen. But what this type of draft does give is a lot of opening in regards to how you started your draft, and how in the middle of it, when Bob mentioned, you choose something to counter what your opponent got. And then you look at the composition and you're like, I know that this composition benefits from a Zero Aura. Just spilling something out there. And instead of you having to pick Zero Aura to counter the other composition, you actually have a second opportunity to ban a key opponent, a key, a key component, there you go, of the other team's composition. So it allows for more strategic planning, and I just love that altogether for competitive.
How's that going to affect viewership, Soph? Do you think that it'll boost over? I mean, let's zone in on competitive for a little bit, because that is the biggest driver, I would say, of viewership outside of the most popular content creators. Looking at our wonderful cast amongst us. Look at all of you driving numbers up. I'm so proud of all of you. But seriously, like, do you think that the 3 bans is going to... I mean, because there's a very real... Given the nature of Unite, it is a quick game, and there is, I think, fair evidence to suggest that people respect that quickness and might lose interest. Do you think that the... let's say the Unite esports audience, do you think that they're ready to sit through a League of Legends style draft phase, when the draft phase that we've already had up until this point is already, what, 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes in length before the inevitable tech delay?
Let me get my 2 cents in. I do think they're ready.
Okay.
I think that right now, even as a caster, especially the ban phase, which is what we're mainly focusing here because of the changes, the ban phase to me and nothing feels like the same for competitive.
Fair.
Sometimes the ban phase feels like nothing happened because you already knew that this person always plays Zera Aura, so you ban the Zera Aura. Oh, and the Ho-Oh, yeah, because it's strong. Like, it didn't have that much depth to it. And because it is so fast, it felt like that and nothing was the same. And you would focus more on speaking over just the picks. So again, on competitive alone, I feel like it's a very, very good change, because then it allows even for us as casters to have more to talk about, or even to have more time to talk about it. Because if you're thinking about the ban phase, which we have right now, sometimes you start talking about why that was a ban, and they're already on on pick 4. Going out to the 5th pick out of the 10, and you're like, "Oh, cool. How do I even
chance to
keep
breathe
up?"
now? Yeah.
Yeah, like, well, okay, I guess we're here. Oh, okay, now purple side team this, orange side team that, and it's gone. You know, draft is gone.
I just had like the GigaVision segue talking about having time. Do we need time to allow all of these wonderful things now, all of these additions to sink in? And much in the same way as the world of streaming, Kelo, Bob, where sometimes these shows are dropping their entire seasons in one go. Looking at you, Pokemon Concierge, dropping all 4 of your way too short episodes at the same time.
10 minutes
and now we're
long.
already through 3 episodes, and now there's only 1 left, and we don't know when to watch it because it's going to ruin the rest of our lives knowing that there won't be any more Pokemon Concierge.
Yes.
There are still so many licenses left to add before the end of the year, regular and mega. There are still so many specialist game modes, fun game modes, auto chess, which has not been added to the game. I guess my question to both of you is, as much as we would like to see all of these things added sooner rather than later, because we can perceive that Pokemon Unite has a resurgence in it where it's having a growing audience and a positive effect on both viewership and player base, is it actually the better call to be not cautious, but considered in when you release it? Because, I mean, just going to put this thought out there, video on the channel coming in the coming days, by the way, there's a Kyogre asset in there. And I bet your bottom dollar that if we've got a Thea Dry Ruins, at some point in the future...
Don't say it. Don't say what you're going to say right now.
At some point, we might have a Kyogre variant.
Okay. I was ready for you to jump in. Who's gonna say it out loud? Who's gonna say it?
Not
say
me.
what?
I
They
forgot
are wet
about.
ruins. They are damp runes. They are moist runes.
They are moist ruins. Let's go, baby. Moist.
Moist esports and Pokemon Unite.
Oh,
I swear, if we have Moist Critical at the World Championships in San Francisco, I'm
I'm
go
gonna lose
mad.
my mind.
Let's go, baby! That's what I'm talking about.
That's what I'm talking about.
that's actually a really good point, though, right? We
Mm.
do have, in terms of this timing, and I don't know, I wouldn't say it's growing pains, but in terms of viewership, the league coming in, like, I think one of the biggest things, or the biggest issues to viewership right now is, well, not many people might know that content creators stream on Twitch or create YouTube content or anything like that. And with the league coming on in and the support of organizations and everything, and if they do already have a following to them, that is one way to draw eyes towards Unite. So at the moment, well, that hasn't started. We don't know that yet. So whether we are going to actually see an increase on viewership, content viewership all round, I think once the new season actually starts, that will probably be the time to actually recognize whether these changes are making a big enough impact. I think one of the biggest struggles is, it's just we just don't really have that direction or those eyes for those new folks coming in to know, oh, hey, there is actually content creators out here. You can support them here, and here. That's I think the biggest thing. It's usually just, oh, if you've been in the Unite community for a while, you kind of already know who's streaming, who's creating content on YouTube or TikTok or whatever. One of the things that I did like, but I hope that they implement differently, is the sub to a streamer campaign that they had, support a streamer campaign that they had, where if somebody ended up subscribing or I think gifting subs or something, they end up getting rewarded with a holoware and a trader skin. Now that was actually, I think, only partnered streamers, I believe, or maybe specific chosen ones. I have no idea. That's the thing. There was not even any advertising on it on socials. It was more just, oh, hey, if you're on Twitch, you'll find this out. So the fact that there was no advertising on the main channel, nobody really knew about it. This is the type of thing that they need to hone in on and do more of. Not even just, through supporting a streamer with monetary ways, but even just how they end up doing the drops during the normal broadcast, like the world's broadcast. You watch for X amount of time, you get this. If they actually start implementing more of that into Twitch, I think that would be a great way to bring back those people, those viewers, to support content creators. Is tune in for 60 minutes on any content creator that is in that Unite category, and we will probably end up seeing that viewership being boosted. But for now, there's no incentive. There's no incentive besides entertainment, I suppose, to actually want to watch content creators. So, sorry, that was like 2 points there.
No, but they're very good points.
That was awesome.
They're very.
Yeah.
That was good.
Bob, I'm gonna throw in another pivot there. Auto chess, right? That's the savior of everything. Just auto chess. That's all we need. Auto chess and thousands and tens of thousands of viewers, right?
Do you all remember 500 point mode? I do.
Oh man, yeah. Do I? Sure.
Back in my day, we had 500 point mode. No, there's Unite's a very complicated engine. You have the traditional competitive scene, which we all know and hate/love sometimes, which is what a lot of people stream as content creators. We do like solo queues, or we do community friendlies, and we're doing ranked, or we're doing all that stuff. I love opportunities where you can have a different Unite experience playing electro volleyball, or you're doing auto chess, or you're doing 500-point mode. Like I even like going to Shiver City and doing like the fun little map for like during the holiday season, just get me in the mood and have some fun. I like those little additions that the game tries to put in there, but either people are in it for like the first couple of days, then they kind of go back to the traditional gameplay of Unite. There's never like long lasting, I feel like long lasting energy towards some of these modes, especially from a content creation side. I want to see more of it. But like what Kelly was saying, if streamers have these incentives and these opportunities to give back to the community as a whole, say, hey, watch this stream, or do this survey, or be a part of this event that we're doing, and you can win some coins or win a trial license, and that's going to be fun to do. Like I can argue that it doesn't take a lot of effort to just give out some, in-game currency or a license. Like, it's there, just do it. Just, see what works, and give the hardworking creators a chance to push more content out about the game, get more people excited about what the Unite experience offers, not just in meta rank, but also all the great other mini games. And it's I want more. I always want more. I think all of us here always want more.
Yeah.
It's just it just gives us more to work with, more to craft like some stories, some videos, some content around. And as long as this game continues trying new things and evolving and going back to, we were talking about draft stuff. I will leave with this. Please just try new things. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Just try it and see what happens. That's how I live my life, where I will do things and I will fail, but I will move on to the next thing, or I will learn from it. Just if you have an idea, try it, see what the reception is, and if it works, great. If not, improve upon it and go on to the next thing. So I'm happy to see some of the wheels turning now in the Unite scene. So I'm optimistic. I'm an optimistic guy. So yeah, no, just give us more to work with, and I think everyone in the end wins.
More is good. I couldn't agree more. And with the drops, for example, I'm looking at Star Rail. Every single Honkai Star Rail, every single major patch has a 2-hour reward trail. You get 5 level up material for like your weapon or your light cone. I know weapon for Genshin fans out there. You get like 20,000 credits. You get like some fragments that you can boost your relics with, which are kind of like your stat boosters. You get 30 jade, which is literally your premium currency. And you get a few travelers guides, which are there to directly level up your character itself. And just those small things. I mean, could you imagine if you had like a 2-hour track where you had, I don't know, 90 Aeos gems, 1,000 Aeos coins, 3 Dorito things.
Oh no, we don't want any of that.
Please update the shop. Please update the shop. Please, honestly.
Oh, you know what we
more
want?
fashion, please. Yeah.
What's that one thing you gave me a Wells for us to try, the Australian like the stick sweet?
Oh, musk sticks.
Musk sticks, yeah. Give me musk sticks.
Musk sticks.
Yeah. So, Kelly, would you like to explain what that snack was, or is in this case?
What does this have to do with fashion tickets? So
Because of the Doritos.
I love how Soph's just like, food? It's just a confectionery here in Australia. They're sweet, but they kind of have a florally scent to them.
And
so
Doritos, apparently.
Anyway, but Doritos, two different
No!
sweet,
It's
savory.
because, okay, so hear me out. My brain was first food. Secondly, a very strong reaction. Doritos. No, not that. And I thought of mustard sticks because basically what Kelly says is that people either love it or hate it. To me, it tasted like
Marmite.
perfume. Exactly.
Is it Vegemite?
In that
It's
case,
just like Marmite.
Vegemite, yeah.
Is it Vegemite
So-
based?
No, it's not.
No. What I'm saying is, to Australia, it is. You have Vegemite, not Marmite, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, it's kind of that same category. You either love Vegemite or you hate Vegemite.
Exactly. See, there is some order to my little brain.
So Apex Legends, what they do for their international broadcasts is they actually go ahead and they do like they do like weapon skins or legend skins or they have like some, it's like a spray or something. So wouldn't it be cool if you could get like an exclusive LAIC frame, an exclusive LAIC background, and hey, if you watch all 3 days and if you watch a certain amount of time, you get an exclusive LAIC trainer outfit or an LAIC, Arceus forbids, HoloWare. That would be cool, right? And that would certainly boost viewership. I can tell you, coming from the world of Rocket League, watching streams with drops against streams without drops, hilarious. Tens of thousands of viewers disappear into the night. It's like they didn't even exist in the first place. But I tell you what does exist. Mega licenses. They're here.
Oh.
And they are completely individual to the originals. So well done to all of you who are predicting that out there. The whole Mewtwo situation was like, wait, so are we just going to have the option to add this held item on? No, it's a little more binary. So we've had our first 2 revealed, Mega Lucario and, of course it was, Mega Charizard X. They're both coming to the game. Thoughts, please. Are we whelmed? Are we at least excited? or are we slightly disappointed at the prospect of what could have been?
My thing is, what was the point of putting the Mega Stones in there for Mewtwo X and Mewtwo Y if Mega Charizard X and Mega Lucario are just going to be unique licenses? So does that mean they have a Mega Stone on them and those are going to be unique licenses that have a Mega Stone and only have those 2 items? Like, I don't get that. I don't see why they couldn't have just made, oh, hey, you can purchase a Mega Lucario Knight, I don't actually know what it's called, in the shop and equip that to your regular Lucario license and then have it Mega. Like, I don't get the whole point of having a normal Lucario that you can have 3 items on and then a Mega Lucario license that has the Mega Stone equipped. Like, I don't know, that just, it seems too complicated and that just makes no sense to me, but hey.
I have no, go on, Bob.
No, you go, because I'm fine.
You're fine? Okay. So,
Okay.
First off, I think that personally, I don't know why, but in my head it makes sense. You've seen live pictures of how my head makes sense, so maybe that's why. But what I feel is that when you have a separate license, for example, it makes sense for competitive in a way that you're actually allowing the enemy team to predict what is going to be used if it's the regular license or if it's the Mega license. So you can actually prepare accordingly during draft. For example, if you were to just equip or unequip the held item during preparation, you would be able to maybe throw off what the enemy was going to be doing. And although a strategy, valid, in a different multiverse, not what they're going for. The second thing is that I feel like they might be releasing even, well, the highest tiers of HoloWare, they might be releasing like very cool, super unique, only possible for megas, right? So maybe they're designing skins in Holloware that are not really equipable, quote unquote, on the both codings of the Pokemon in the game. So maybe those are some things as well that could be like limitations. Also, I need to say on the Holloware that we were talking about before, do world champion Holloware, where the champions, that's what we have in League of Legends. The champions in the 5 players that won worlds, they actually choose a Pokemon they would like a Holloware for, and then the company, right? So Timmy would make the design for the championship year of 2025, and it would be on the Pokemon that the players chose. So that's pretty cool, and I think people would love it because it's very unique. That's my 2 cents, or maybe 4.
Working up to $1 real quick.
I'm getting pretty rich, or maybe poor, I don't know.
Bob, you said you were fine.
I'm
Is it like
fine.
is it the meme? This is fine, or are you actually okay?
I don't know how I feel. I know Wonder Chef and I talked about this. Shout out to Wonder Chef, by the way. He's over
Having a great time on holiday.
He's right there.
He's having a great time.
there. By the way,
Look at him there.
love that guy. He we were talking about like we agreed that it'll be some type of held item, and that's good to see. Like, okay, it takes up a slot, and because it's a little bit more powerful. That's great. I can see why they're doing individual licenses, because I know going back to all like the Holloware stuff. I know, Soph, you were mentioning Holloware. It's that the Holloware is tied to that Pokemon design. Now, obviously, when you Mega, the design also changes. So, do you have to think about doing Holloware for like? Can they just transfer that Holloware over? If you were just like Lucario and you had a Lucario license and you had a skin on Lucario and you Mega Evolved, can that skin come over? That does require extra work on their end. And this feels like, oh, let's pick a new license, so we don't have to worry about that issue about Holloware being transferable between a non-Mega and a Mega Pokemon. I also don't know. I don't want to say things that I've seen online because, again, it could be spoiler-ish how the Mega feature works. But I can see why people are upset about this because it's just another, I was gonna say paywall.
Oh. Is it me, or has everyone gone off? Ah.
Put that on them, and now I think you can have multiple Mewtwo's right now on one team.
Bob, I'm going to stop you right there. Discord has had another nightmare. And all of those incredible points that you were putting forward, I believe they were just
Forget about it. Forget about it. Just have a picture of me going, it's fine. We'll just move on.
We just go back to the I'm fine. But I think we did get
okay.
I think we did get the gist of it though, in that it's just another version of the same thing, really.
Yeah.
And you know, maybe if it was a different take on Lucario. I mean, Bridget was like, yo, imagine if Mega Lucario's an attacker Lucario license with Mega Evolution. That's cool. That's a different role. And that, therefore, to me, justifies, yeah, okay, it's actually worth having these two on the same team. Because, yeah, okay, they're the same Pokemon base, but at least there's different things that you can do with it. But it's the fact that it's looking like half of the original license plus Mega, whatever the Mega adds, it doesn't take away from the fact that it's still building off the same foundation, in which case, outside of the graphical work to bring Hollowares to it, why are they not just integrated via the Mega Stones on the regular license? And honestly, that draws back to my main issue. Because they're talking about 8 brand new licenses before the end of the year. And now we know that those 4 Pokemon that they revealed, Pawmot, Empoleon, Dhelmise, Vaporeon, those are possibly the only 4 brand new, totally unique Pokemon that we're getting. All of a sudden, that number halved. Now, there is every possibility that they surprise us, and one of the secret Mega licenses is Mega Howlucha, or Mega Victory Bell, or something really cool and something really unique. But people have been doing some sleuthing, and they've seen some merch, and they reckon, I won't throw some spoilers out here, but they reckon that the 2 licenses that we are going to see that are Megas, that are not Mega Charizard X and not Mega Lucario, are in fact based off Pokemon that are already in the game. To be fair, even our collective thought process, our collective think tank was saying, yo, Mega Dragonite has got to be in there, right? And that's based off an existing license as well. Even though it's a brand new Mega Evolution, it would still be based off Dragonite. The same old Dragonite. So it's like, as much as it's... Go on, Soph. Go on. Throw out your thoughts.
So
Build up to
the
that
parallel that I can create is you could have the quote-unquote same argument for, oh, it's the same Eevee that evolves into all of the other evolutions, but every different Eevee for every different evolution is a different type of Swift, is a different type of ability.
Yes.
So I think that if they nail it by making the Charizard, you have your Charmander, and it does different attacks from the get-go than the regular Charizard does. And having the Mega Stone impacts in some way how the Mega Gauge, like Mewtwo has, the Mega Gauge would influence those attacks. And then I feel like you could have a same quote-unquote foundation, but the moves are going to be different. They're going to be affected different. And you could choose, like I said, different moves. You don't need to have, for example, like Eevee has, that all Eevee start with Swift, right? But the Swift is different in some way. You could have that where your ability, I don't think it's Fire Punch, but one of the earlier abilities, Fire Spin, maybe?
For Charmander?
Yeah.
So you have Ember and... It is Fire Spin, isn't it?
It is Fire Spin, I think. Anyways, you could have Fire Spin with a different take on it, because we have many Pokemon in the game that they have the same skill, but that works differently. Or you could have an entirely different skill to begin with. To me, I don't mind that as long as they do that. Because if they just get the regular Charizard and have a Mega Stone to it that has some effect, then I think it's a little bit meh. But they have the space to actually utilize it well. And because they do it on the EVs, I feel they can do it there as well. Because you have 2 EVs on the same role with Aspeon and Sylveon. They don't do the same thing. They still come from Eevee. They still come from the same quote-unquote foundation, but they are completely different. But they're still in the same role as attackers. So here's my food for thought.
Yeah, I get that. If that's the direction they do choose to do and why they are doing those unique licenses for, obviously, if you do want to have a look, there is stuff out there, I guess, of how it actually works. Not spoilers, not officially and everything like that. So, but I guess my thing is, okay, we have Mega Lucario license come out. What does that mean for the regular Lucario license, the regular Charizard license? Do these just now become obsolete? Because if you have Mega Lucario there, I am going to choose Mega Lucario over the normal regular license. And this is my whole issue of that, is now those licenses in game, unless they somehow buff regular Charizard and regular Lucario to have different stats to what the Mega Lucario and Mega Charizard licenses have, I can see where they'd be 2 different things. But say if it's more just for the move sets, and obviously you only end up getting that buff through that Mega form, and the other regular form stays exactly the same. Like, as I said, I just don't see any reason to have these unique licenses where, well, you'd end up, if you have that Mega Stone equipped to the regular license, that's where you do get that stat change and that update. So it's more that worry of these other 2 licenses are going to be in game, but they're just going to be pretty much useless to us. They're not going to have any
Yeah.
relevance at all.
I think
So
that if again, I'm making like perfect plans here. Oh,
Sent to the shadow
There's no
realm.
perfect plan.
Oh, Timmy,
Sorry, guys.
Timmy,
that doesn't
Timmy was like,
exist.
no, we're gonna
No.
ban you to the shadow
No.
realm. Oh, there you are.
What in the frick happened? That was
Oh, you're
weird.
back. You're back. Okay. Yo, here I was being like, yo, let's not do this. Let's make this a non-live podcast. There's less that can go. Everything is just garbage
yeah.
fire today. Yeah. But anyway,
Yeah.
please continue.
Was that me?
You're good.
You were.
It was me. Okay, I just wasn't sure how quickly did it cut. Anyway.
You're good. You're good.
Okay. I was gonna say, in my perfect world, not just do we have like the differences in the move sets, but I agree with you, Callie. You need to have a distinct difference between what are the oh gosh. I forgot the word.
What are the differences?
No, I was gonna say another league term. I forgot what it is.
Can't help you with that one.
Yeah. Power spike. It's also something that we use in Unite, but yeah, the power spike. You could have, for example, Lucario, we know it's a steady rock and always is going to get the AOS energy early game in the top path pretty well, especially if you don't have a supporter there that's helping somewhere else, the Lucario would do well. Maybe Mega Lucario is not that good on the early laning phase, and maybe it requires to have like constant fighting, for example, that we have with Pawmot, to, you know, constantly be there and getting those abilities and attacks on to recharge the Unite move. Maybe Mega Lucario will have a weakness in the early game and a more steady brawler kind of mid to late game focus. So if they change and like even out the power spikes so that it's different for each one, you can still understand the benefit of getting a Lucario in your team instead of a Mega Lucario. But again, this is just me cooking in my head. If they want, they can call me. Timmy, call me, okay? And we can talk about it, because these like theory crafts is just something that I love so much. And if they can do it well, it's just gonna be everything for Unite.
I'm also worried about the kids, though, that are going to be looking at, why would it's Mega Lucario. Why would I ever choose regular Lucario? I mean, we are dealing with a player base that has a very wide age range window. Timmy, I don't know, guys. I don't know. We'll let you cook. We'll see what you serve up. And then I guess we will pass judgment. We don't know what the other 2 licenses are. But for me personally, if it's going the way that we kind of think it might be going, I kind of wish that you would have just left the Mega licenses to completely brand new Pokemon or completely new concepts. We shall wait and see. And
Can we put in our prediction of what you think the other 2 licenses are, and then, you know, later down the track, and then we'll backtrack and see if we're right?
Let's have that as our closing question. What do we think the final 2 licenses are going to... So they're Mega licenses. They're going to be released, I think, what was it, in November and December at some point. There's 2 of them. Let's go down the line. Kelly, let's start with you. What are the 2 Mega licenses joining Charizard X and Lucario?
My thoughts are Mega Gardevoir and Mega Gengar.
That feels like
You're not going
2
Dragonite?
pretty
Love
popular
that.
picks. Soph.
Ooh. Wait. Hold on.
I'm holding.
I love the Gengar and the Gardevoir, but I'm gonna go completely different from it. Although if that did happen, I would be so happy to be wrong. Because I love them to bits. I think Mega Dragonite still. But what if, I know that you've seen a spoiler somewhere, but what if, I'm just going through a mind that has no spoilers in it, we actually get a new Pokemon and we get Mega Holucha.
You're on the source. Mega Holucha, really? I mean, it's awesome. I'd be so down for it.
That's what I'm saying. It's
so Mega Dragonite and Mega Holucha, like the full Pokemon Legends tie-in. Yeah.
Exactly.
Bob, where's your head at?
Okay. Listen to this.
I'm ready.
I think I want to see Mega Slowbro
Okay.
Oh.
and strap in. I think in Pokemon ZA, I think this is the right time. And I don't know anything. This is just me thinking about this. I think in Pokemon ZA, I think we see a Mega Evolution for Greninja. And then you're going to get Mega Greninja coming in Unite.
Wow.
That is my high.
That's
That is
like
my high
double
level
layer.
See, like double, triple, quadruple, cheesy layer, 5-layer burrito, Bob.
Oh,
Mega.
Burrito Bob.
Because think about it. Pokemon's marketing for ZA has
Yeah.
really kicked into high gear. I know we're only about a month away from ZA, but wouldn't it be nice if Unite is one of those places where maybe you find out before the game comes out or when the game's already out? Bam, you get a Mega in there. Thank you.
It's on that
Thank
level.
The sauce. Give
I
me
think
that
Mega
sauce,
10
Bob.
to
Pass it
50
over. What a dip.
You're crazy. But I love it.
Just saying.
The spinny top slow bro, I'm here for it. The fact that you've gone ahead and predicted, we're gonna get Mega Greninja. Sure. Why not? Let's just do Ash Greninja while we're at it as well. Let's just add Ash to Pokemon Unite. That sounds cool, right? I could meme and say Mega Malamar, since it's clear as day that's the Malamar's our friend, everyone. I don't think it's going to be Mega Malamar. I'm going to run semi-cautious, semi-positive. I'm going to stick with the official EXP share tier list. I'm going to stick with... It would be so cool if there's a Mega Dragonite to tie into, regardless of how underwhelming or fantastic it might be. I think it'd be really cool to see a brand new variant of a Pokemon in our game. I think that'd be awesome. I'm also going to go with Mega Gengar, because I think the Mega Gengar and Gengar in general is one of the most popular picks of Pokemon that you could find out there. I know the Gardevoir is also very popular. I think that's also a great shout, especially since Gardevoir has been in and out of the meta a lot. But Gengar has been firmly out of the meta, aside from the crazy YOLO one-shot, we're going to try and win on LAN events. So I'll go Mega Gengar and Dragonite for that one. So there's our picks, everyone. Hey, who do you think the next 2 licenses are going to be? And don't cheat if you're like 2 years in the future. We know what they are already by then. Let us know in the comments below, and we might share out your ideas in a couple of weeks' time if they... Well, let's revisit in 2 weeks' time anyway, whether they've been revealed or not, because then we can all laugh at each other at how wrong we all were in the end when they go with, I don't know, Mega Stunfisk or something. I don't know what we're going to be expecting. Legends ZA always coming up with new surprise. We got a Mega Victory Bell, for goodness sake. Who knows what we're going to go next? But anyway,
it is pretty weird.
It is very weird.
I love it.
And this has been a bit of a weird podcast, admittedly, but we hope that you all had fun along the way. I think we certainly did as well. It's only episode 2, plenty more to come, I would imagine, especially once we get UCS rolling and all that. So let us know what you'd like us to talk about in the comments below. I imagine the next time around we are going to be covering, goodness, what does come out next? Is it Empoleon next?
I think so.
We might talk about Empoleon.
Yeah.
But whatever we do talk about, be sure to let us know your thoughts. Subscribe and like for more and such. Be sure to subscribe and like to all of these wonderful people, by the way. You can find Buzzerbob, Soph-chan, and Kelosaurus across various socials, X, Twitch, and Kelo and Buzzerbob, I believe, both have YouTubes. With Soph, you can find her at
Insta and TikTok.
Insta and TikTok.
And Kelly on TikTok as well.
Kelly on TikTok. Bob, do you have a TikTok?
I do.
Let's go, Bob on
We all
TikTok.
have all the socials.
I'm all around the internets. You'll find me.
chronically online like us.
You want on
I
Blue
am.
Sky?
One of us.
There's-
One of us.
There's links in the description below. You can find your way there. I've been Just Relic. I'm also on all of those sites. And yeah, that Kyogre video coming soon. So thank you very much, guys. Hope you enjoyed the rest of your evening, day, morning, or wherever you are. And from all of us to you, it's a very warm goodbye.
Boy.